Hello everybody, DarkPhoenix Gaming here, and welcome back to the official start of my Let's Play of Kaiserreich with the Qing Empire. Of course, last time around, we had the introduction video where I chose a faction and basically got everything set up to get started, including all our strategic redeployment and our research and economic doodaddles, as well as, of course, intelligence. Let's actually go into intelligence, so that we know about the people we give a damn about. And now that we've got all that out of the way, it's time to officially start the LP. And we just have to wait a couple of days for all my troops to arrive on the border with the newest neighbor we don't like. That's alright. Galicia thinks some idea to do with their oil is nonsense. Our policy can be changed, so I'm gonna move us a tick towards Hawk Lobby. We can get to be much more interventionist and actually start getting involved in world affairs and everything. Especially because, if you just go over here and look at this right now, starting a war will increase our descent by a massive 11%. So, it's something to do with our sliders that's going to give us the opportunity to do that for less, I think. Declare wars, I mean. And I know there's some event-based thing, as the whole mess with the communists in Europe is kicking off. There's some event-based thing that lets, as well as decision-based thing that lets you declare wars. And just now, Alexander Kerensky over in Russia has been assassinated. So Russia are going to be in for some interesting times. Indeed they are. Not necessarily the good kind of interesting. Oh-ho! And Wrangel declares martial law and dissolves the Duma. So Russia's going military dictatorship on us. Well, have fun with that. Mongolia. Tisk tisk. I'd give up on your whole unification thing, if I were you, by the way. You're not gonna get anywhere with it anytime soon. I accidentally deployed too many divisions in this area. We want a few of them in some of the other spots, so... let's see. Those three can move there. And those two can move there. It's a very short trip, but strategic redeployment is the faster way to do it. Everyone's getting their political and their politics in order internally right now, is for the most part what we've got going on. It's mostly internal political shuffling that we have going on in all the foreign nations right now. They're just shuffling around their politics and making sure things are the way they want them to be. In a little bit, we'll get to the point where we actually start affecting the world around us. And by affecting the world around us, I mean conquering breakaway Chinese states, of course. And it is now the Chinese New Year of the Year Rat. Today, January 21st, begins the 7-day-long celebrations of the Chinese New Year. This is an especially important New Year because it begins a new 60-year cycle starting with the Year of the Rat. It is the most important of the traditional Chinese holidays. In addition to this, Puyi, the emperor, has announced that he is giving a state speech at the end of the ceremonies. And we lose one dissent thanks to that, which doesn't really matter because we have no dissent currently. No dissent whatsoever. For now. I'm sure that will change in the future, as I predict having to make some fairly radical decisions in order to shape the empire. Puyi speaks, January 27th, 1936, Beijing. Today is the final day of the Chinese New Year. Today marks the common man's birthday, a day where everyone grows older. Puyi has decided to use this occasion to make his speech to the Chinese people. And indeed, the empire is entering the new Reformation, because it's probably not a secret in China at this moment in time, but the empire is kind of in a fucked up state and badly needs some help, so we need to reform and reform and reform some more. Because China needs to get its military and economic and industrial ass in gear. Like, now. Because we are in no way prepared for any sort of international confrontation. And one of my major objectives for this campaign is reunification of the Chinese Empire. We want China to hold all the lands that were historically China's, which is going to involve confrontations with some major players. We're going to, almost certainly, have to fight a war with the Japanese. We're also going to have to either persuade Germany's friends, or puppets rather. We're going to have to persuade the AOG to side with us diplomatically, or we're going to have to go to war with them and consequently the German Empire and retake it all. The same can be said for Germany's territories. He's over at China here. And we're also going to have to deal with the legation cities. And even though China hasn't had control of it since the mid-1800s, I don't think, we want to reclaim Taiwan. And if possible, I would also like to establish a Chinese puppet state in Korea and drive the Japanese back. But my objective, like I said, is complete reunification of the borders of the Chinese Empire. And I'm including Mongolia and Tibet in that, even though Tibet was kind of a more modern-day acquisition of China in the communist China era. And I don't actually know if Mongolia was part of the historical Chinese Empire. And after that, we'll reassess. I may decide at that point that China has been strengthened enough to embark on some military expansion projects of its own. Though which way we push and how we control any territories that we take outside of the historical areas of the Chinese Empire. That is up for debate. We will see where things go, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Black Monday is hitting everybody. I wonder if we're going to have to deal with it. I mean, we do have a pretty big relationship with the Germans right now, and that's a relationship I'm going to want to keep, as upsetting as that's going to be in a lot of regards. We're going to want to maintain our relationship with the Germans. Afghanistan has gone to war with Delhi, and Tibet has refused an alliance with the Mongolians. Now, I'm just waiting to see if we get any sort of more events for the political situation. So, I'm gonna wait until April. If April rolls around without any additional political reforms popping up, I'm going to declare war on the Qing here. Even though it's going to cost me about 11 dissent to do so. Even with that, I'm going to go to war with them if we don't get a new event by April. For now, though, we'll wait and see how things go. That we've got our improved Welt Creek field artillery and armor, so we can now start moving down the path towards having modern tanks. Because even though I don't technically need tanks or anything, because we are China and will eventually conquer enough lands to be able to have enough manpower to just play the Russian game and throw numbers at a problem until it goes away. I would like tanks because I like using armor. Even though, based on the way I remember this game works, it doesn't make logical sense to be using armor when you can just build more infantry divisions. I'm still going to be using plenty of armor because I like to play with a mix, even though it's not necessarily more beneficial than having more infantry divisions. Because those of you who watched the Soviet Russia Let's Play done by Sorcerer Dave, at the time he was Jingles 1215, you know that he successfully conquered basically the whole of Eastern Europe using almost exclusively infantry divisions. So that's the sort of thing you can do in this game. But I prefer not to, just because I like to have variety, even if it's suboptimal. That's the way I tend to play these games, more for the story and immersion and having some variety than anything else, like playing optimally. It's the reason why a current game I'm doing in Stellaris as a xenophobe, I have no alliances. Because right now, well, that empire has no reason to want to ally with the Xeno scum, as they would put it. Anyways, we've hit April. It's going to cost us a lot of dissent I'm going to drop a save real quick. Just in case, because, well, I haven't really had this mod crash on me before. It is a mod, and I like to be safe for those sort of things, so... Shang-Qing. We don't have the money we require to demand territory from them, but they would never accept anyways, so... Shang-Qing? Yes, I declare war on you. Apparently this Major General is getting a penalty right now. Promote his ass. Let's see. You attack there. You support that attack. You attack, and while we're going into a war, I'm going to reduce the speed down to merely fast. And now we'll crush them in this war, and I should be able to go after the neighbors after that. Ireland did not join Middle Europa, apparently. A couple of those battles are going a little slowly because they need us to have more reserves to send in. And these guys need to arrive so they can support that battle. Is their issue right now. These fellows can get there. We can attack from another angle with these divisions and help smash them at the capital. So that should help us win that battle. For the most part, we've got them pinned down. This isn't going to be much of a challenge as far as a war goes. But we gotta do it. And Mongolia and these guys are at war now. That's unfortunate. I was hoping to be able to absorb their territory diplomatically, but if Mongolia is going to war with them, that's probably not going to be an option. Just diplomatically take them over. They probably won't be all that interested. Unless maybe the war makes them more inclined to surrender because they'll get our protection. I don't know. We'll see. But I find that somewhat unlikely. That if they are fighting against someone and someone else came in and said, hey, if you become annexed by us, we will we will help you not die in the war you're currently fighting. I don't see that working out somehow. And we'll open up a third front on the assault on their capital city. As really, I want that capital. They have another place way back there we have to take, but... it's of less importance than the capital right now. I'll take that over, and then a couple of these units can move in a different direction, basically squish the rest of those bastards. Delhi annexed Afghanistan. Interesting. They won that war, unsurprisingly. Totally unsurprising that Delhi won that war. They always beat Afghanistan, but the fact that Afghanistan has been puppeted, I don't see that too often. Usually Delhi will take a handful of the territories they lost in the last war against the Afghans. That's part of the lore. They'll usually take a handful of... yeah, Delhi will usually just reclaim their old lands and leave it at that. They don't typically annex the Afghans. That's not something I see all that often. Now, I'm going to open a new front over there with a multi-pronged attack. Mass production, we've got that. Our industry is rolling along okay. I'll get some more, then. Why do I get the feeling the Mongolians are going to win that war? Other than the fact it's Mongolia, I mean. That was a rhetorical question. For the most part. Okay, that battle up there is progressing nicely, and now the two of you can go there. Open up another front. They're being crushed right now, as thoroughly as one can be crushed. But it's a bit slow going at the moment. Simply because the infrastructure in this area is not that great, so our movement's a little bit impeded. Is the best I can describe it. Move on there. Let's see about taking the last victory point off them. Now, just keep at it. We've almost won this war. Got some more reinforcements coming in. They failed in their attack as well, which gives us a little bit of breathing room. Apparently, the Canadian government has fallen, and the Ottoman Empire decided to suspend their constitution to save the empire, thanks to some Arab riots. Lovely. And yeah, the Mongolians are destroying these guys, which I'm not happy to see. I wanted them to win because I wanted their shit. Annex some.